Please, Tim, Geronimo, please come on stage. We're going to do a little panel, but before, I think we have some slides. First Tim, and then later. Please, hi Jeff. It's
Good to see you. Let's see, I'll wait
You
up
can
here.
probably sit here.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tim Schiffers. I'm the CEO of Parship Elite Group. I run the business together with my co-MD, two co-MDs, Henning Rönneberg and Marc Schachtel. With our two brands, Parship and Elite Partner, which we acquired 2 years ago, we generate a turnover of more than 120 million euros at an EBITDA margin of greater than 25%. This makes us the overall market leader in online dating in the German-speaking markets. But most probably more importantly, over the years, we have been responsible for the birth of more than 100,000 babies with our two brands. Like our colleagues from Affinitas, Geronimo, we operate in the matchmaking segment of the market. You use a matchmaking service when you're seriously looking for a partner, when you're looking for a serious relationship, i.e. you only want to meet people that have the same intention. That is in contrast to the classical dating players, which are more about open intentions and casual dating with its focus on erotic encounters. Due to this very specific positioning of a matchmaking service, matchmaking is about lower number of customers, but at significantly higher ARPUs. Thus, you could call matchmaking the luxury segment of the market, and in particular, with our focus on brand and quality, we very much play that game. When we look at the market, we see a massive change over the past 5 years. The classical dating players have very much lost in appeal. Instead, the dating apps like Tinder and Lavu have appeared on the scene and have reached a very strong position. And over the same period, we have been able to massively grow the Parship business. We have grown annual registrations by factor 2, leading to a situation in the market where, from a sociographic distribution, we cover the whole range of people looking for a partner, and have done all that at a CAGR of 26%. So how do we do that? We definitely benefit from the arrival of the dating apps that have made dating more accessible, but we also have our own very specific approach. We're very much about brand. In Germany, we have really become a household name that we're very much communicating in the market. We are the #1 player in out-of-home, amongst the top 10 in TV. We obviously use all online marketing channels to bring on board and have a very strong focus on CRM activities, bringing product and communication together. But what is maybe less known is how strong we are on the mobile side. We generate more than 50% of our registrations via mobile devices, bringing us to an overall mobile revenue of 35 million, which actually makes us the biggest player in the mobile space in the German market. And this is very much where the focus of our innovation lies.
Okay. By the way, did I tell you that my Swiss banker found his wife on Parship?
Well, we hear that very often, and we're very glad to hear that.
My ex-wife on Bumble, her new boyfriend.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, very high online dating usage. Thank you, Tim.
Hello, so I'll try to be quite quick in the introduction. So today is probably the last time I introduce ourselves as Elite Singles. It's our biggest brand, but we have renamed the company last night, basically. We became Spark Networks SE. So as a result of a merger between Affinitas, the parent company of Elite Singles, and Spark Networks, we did a merger. Spark was a publicly listed US company, and we closed the transaction yesterday, becoming Spark Networks. And Affinitas, where I'm coming from, will own 75% of the combined entity, and I'll be running the combined new group.
Thank you.
A brief history of our group.
Yeah.
We have been around for quite a long time, starting in 2009, mostly as eDarling. We got some investment from eHarmony along the way. Then they exited. We entered the US very successfully and created one of the largest dating groups. We bought Attractive World last year, then merged with Spark Networks, and we are now listed on the New York Stock Exchange. as a quick overview, so the guidance we gave to the market is we will be around 120 million in revenues and around 20 million of EBITDA in US dollars. And we have key brands like Elite Singles, J-Date, eDarling, or Christian Mingle. So we have around 300 employees worldwide with offices in Berlin, where we're headquartered. We also have an office in New York and in Utah. And we have around 500,000 paying members on a monthly basis. And we are listed on the New York Stock Exchange with the ticker LOV. Similar to Parship, so we are quite different from Parship in the way that we operate mostly in the English-speaking markets, but we love the same segment. So we are also we focus on the serious segment and matchmaking, and subscription-based, so quite expensive subscriptions for people that are looking for a true, meaningful relationship and want to find the right person. And in that sense, the merger with Spark made a lot of sense because now we have a large portfolio of brands all catering to the same segment, but with different USPs, especially different relation segments.
Perfect.
And that was it.
Thank you so much. The next gentleman is Jeff from America, and he called me 3 years ago and said, I'm going to consolidate the online dating space. I said, well, I'm not sure about how easy that is. A few years later, I'm standing here and I have to say chapeau.
Thank you.
What you did, you tripled your business through M&A
Yes.
in a way I've never seen before. Please.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm the founder. I'm Jeff Cook. I'm the founder of the Meet Group. I started the app Meet Me, which is one of our portfolio apps. Lately, we've been very busy acquiring a portfolio. I'm very excited to have closed the acquisition of Lovoo just last month. That was a big deal for us. It was a $70 million deal. Just closed it. They have offices in Dresden, Berlin. #1 German dating app by downloads in Germany, Switzerland, Austria. We also have Tagged, an app for African Americans in the US specifically. Scout is an East Asian brand, fundamentally in terms of its busiest region. We have 4.5 million daily active users, about 15 million monthly active users. Last year we did 29 million EBITDA, and that with revenues well in excess of $100 million. Lately, what we've been very focused on is building a live streaming platform. We've noticed and paid attention to what Momo's doing, what Pactor's doing out in Asia. We've been adding live streaming into our portfolio apps currently on Tagged, Scout, and Meet Me. We've found that 20+% of our users, of our daily users, use it every day. And we've seen, we believe there's a huge monetization opportunity here as we monetize the tipping model, which is kind of endemic to these live streaming apps. We're excited to, we believe that there's going to be a move from traditional programming. There's obviously a trend towards cord cutting. We expect that there will be more and more people coming on, consuming video on mobile devices. And we look forward to that trend. We've been trying to build out different versions of dating games that we think will play well beyond, on mobile devices. So with that, I'll turn it over.
Wonderful. So my first question to you is, the people on your platforms and apps, are they actually really looking for relationships, or you think they're on the platform because they don't want to have a relationship? Maybe I start with Jeff.
When we ask users that question, half will say dating and half will say friendship. Lovoo is obviously skews more towards dating. But even on Lovoo, we find about a quarter of users say they're there for entertainment. So we think that ultimately what users are doing across all these apps is human connection.
Yeah, and sometimes if it didn't work out, there's this famous thing, we can remain friends.
That's right.
But Tim, for you, it's all about finding the right match.
For us, it's absolutely
And
about
you have to
relationships.
answer a lot of questions. How many questions you ask the user at sign up?
Well, you have to go through a questionnaire. You register free of charge. You go through the questionnaire, which will take you, if you do it properly, 30 to 40 minutes. So you really
You have to invest time to get
you have
something
to invest
out.
time, yeah. And that, at the end of the day, is the first signaling factor, if you so want, that you really mean it seriously. Yeah? And I think the high price that we actually have adds to it, with that you show that you really mean it seriously and that you're seriously looking for a relationship. And we always say there are two important decisions that you take in your life. The one is what education, what profession you take. The other one is who's your partner for life, and you should spend some money on that.
And sometimes when you look at the dating market, you think that there are too many apps. I guess you have a strong differentiator, but I believe Elite Partners has a similar model. You also ask a lot of questions. How long does it take to register with your app?
So first, Elite Partner belongs to them
That's me.
in Germany, and we are Elite Singles in the English-speaking market. So we're very complementary. So that already tells you we have a very similar product. Our questionnaire is also quite extensive, so it also takes around 30 to 40 minutes, and we also charge quite high
It also takes
prices.
30 to 40 minutes.
Yes,
Same questions?
different questions.
You should do an agreement. You can say, okay, you save the time, you're on both platforms.
We get along very well anyhow.
See, started at Noah. So what's your view on Bumble? I mean, you are in the dating industry. I think, Jeff, how long are you in the online dating industry?
Since 2005.
Since 2005. I think Andre did 99, something like this, he started. But you're a veteran in the industry. And now there comes Whitney.
Yeah.
It's a bit like shotgun, women first, I win. How do you see it?
No, I mean, it's a great success story, and I think it continues a trend that started with Tinder, towards really exclusivity, essentially, right? Tinder introduced this concept of double swipe in order to unlock chat. Kind of Bumble amped that up one more, requiring not just the double swipe, but for the female to initiate conversation. So I mean, I think it was a clever marketing play they had, and a clever dynamic on the product.
I think it helps them a lot to be part of Badoo, basically. Like Tinder has the match group behind them. Bumble having Badoo, it's what really makes the dating app work, because we have seen a lot of standalone apps that have not really succeeded so far. So I think that's also part of the success story.
Because you have so high revenues per user, you can afford television advertising, right? I mean, can you disclose the number, how much you spend on TV per year?
Yeah, it's significantly double-digit million numbers. Yeah, let me put it this way.
And that's the number one marketing, the most important source of user inflow.
We spend two-thirds of our marketing budget goes into offline media. We're the number one in out-of-home in Germany and amongst the top 10 spenders on TV. And 1/3 goes into online and digital.
And while you generate your revenues mostly from the user, Jeff is mostly advertising funded, I believe.
That's right. So we're 70% of our revenues coming from advertising today. That was 85% up until we closed Lovoo. So Meet Me, Scout, and Tagged are fundamentally advertising supported businesses. We believe live streaming is going to change that. We're seeing some.
So what is going to change that?
Live streaming. So what we've seen in live streaming is people will give gifts and they will pay for in-app purchasing.
Explain what live streaming is.
So in live streaming, one user goes live or potentially has a guest and then talks to other users who can watch. And they might have 1,000 people watching. Those other users can give gifts to the streamer. And those gifts are purchased through virtual currency. And so what we're seeing is a real uptick in in-app purchasing.
That model started in Asia, I think.
It started in Asia, that's right.
You know the company which started?
I mean, I actually am not sure who started it, but Momo really popularized it in dating. So they launched this feature. They were about $1 billion market cap company traded in New York. Now they're a $6 billion market cap company rivaling the market cap of Match.com. So we've paid careful attention to that. We don't think it's strictly a Chinese phenomenon. We've seen some success in the US, and we recently launched this product on our apps. We're seeing 20+% users using it, and we've just started turning on this gifting platform, and it's impressive.
I think it's an interesting differentiator that you're bringing to the market, because you were asking before about the apps, and at the end of the day, all the apps are pretty much similar. Yeah, you all have swiping or liking, you have a radar, you have the super local.
Saving.
And then you need the specific twist, yeah? And I think that Bumble is doing very nicely with the female focus. Yeah. You're bringing the live stream to it. You need to find an editorial hook. You need to find a differentiation. Yeah.
Yeah, dating is very competitive, so unless you have a strong USP, like for us, for example, JDate, as the strongest Jewish community, has a very strong USP. But unless you have a real reason to exist, there's enough dating apps and dating sites out there already. So it's very important to have a purpose.
So how global are you as businesses, Jeff? You're probably big now after the Nuvo in both Europe and the US.
I mean, we're pushing 80% international at this point by daily active users. Still a lot of revenues coming in
But
the
the
US.
global footprint of a Tinder, of a Badoo, none of you have, right? You're stronger in certain markets. I mean, your model is obviously linked to the TV world in the country you operate.
We have a lot of brand in the portfolio, so some of those like JSwipe or JDate are truly global. Others are more local, but we operate in around 30 markets. So for us, it's around half North America, half rest of the world, mostly Europe.
Right.
We are very much focused on the German-speaking markets, where we have an overall leading position, but we're feeling very comfortable in the segment that we're in, and it's quite nice to be king in one country.
Okay.
Where there's a pretty good position from which you can then develop other things.
Let's go 5 years forward. We heard Bumble's vision of dating. What's your view? What's going to happen in the market? How are we going to find relationships online? Are the current products enough for what we need in order to be as big as the mobile gaming sector? That would be 10x from 5 to 50 billion.
Well, first of all, I think there will be continued consolidation. So when you look at what has happened over the past few years, there was first the Match IPO, then our sale to Oakley, then acquisition of Elite Partner, sale to ProSieben. You made 3 acquisitions about which you just talked. You did a lot of things. Now with Spark Network, the latest deal. A market that has been notorious for not seeing any transactions has seen a lot of transactions. And I think now you have 6, 7 groups that are all similar size, apart from Match.com, that are obviously the number 1 player out there. And I think there's definitely the interesting potential for someone amongst these players to build the number 2. What will happen in dating in terms of functionality, again, when you look at the market, there has not been so much innovation. Because at the end of the day, it's
swiping, female
swiping.
first.
Yeah, but I mean, swiping, what is it at the end of the day? It's like combining hot or not with instant messaging, which is a really cool idea, and the ergonomy of it is fantastic. But in terms of proper innovation, when you compare it to other industries, there hasn't been so much. And therefore, brand focus, positioning, and trying to find something that differentiates you, that will be key.
Yeah, I think you either stand still or you die, right? So I think that's the one thing we've learned doing this 12 years is that if you're not making changes, you're going to be a matter of time until you erode because there's just so much competition. And so we're placing this bet on live streaming, but I agree. Like, there's a lot of flux in the market. I think the only thing you could be sure of 5 years out is it's going to look different from today. I think there'll be a lot of the same players.
What's your
but
guess
those
how many
products will be different.
marriages will start online? We had 30% now in the US.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You guys hear that 30%
I mean,
of the marriages in the US originate online. 30%.
I would guess vastly all.
All of them.
All of them, yeah.
I'm not sure all, but like a big percentage, yeah.
And you
But
guys
I-
are worried about Facebook?
No, not necessarily.
Would
I
they
think
be
it's
a competitor?
Not necessarily. I think it's a platform where basically their business model for them would be to sell traffic to us. And I think generally what we see is that people want to have their love life separate from their networking or their social life. So it's something quite private, and I think people will always prefer to do it differently.
Okay, so you guys are the serious dating guys, it's called. I think you're more on the casual side. Now, when I recently told my daughter, let's watch some television, she said, what do you mean watch television? You want to watch the television on Netflix? So she didn't understand my language anymore. So Serious Dating, Parship was founded when?
16 years ago, 2001.
So 2001. If you look at your user demographic, and also for Geronimo, for Elite and Singles, so much Elite, do you see the young user inflow declining? Do you feel like the younger demographics are going more to these Bumbles and Tinders, the hot new things?
No, for us, not at all. I mean, as I showed on the one slide before, actually, we've encountered the strongest growth in the younger demographics. I mean, when we talk about younger demographics, it's not at the age of 18, because then you don't think about getting into a serious relationship or getting married.
It's not very credible.
So we start more at the age of 25, but we have definitely seen the biggest influx in the younger demographics.
Okay.
Yeah, for us, what we see is also depends a lot by the market, But we used to do a lot more TV in the past, and now we still do a lot of TV, but we have shifted more to online advertising. So we are basically shifting our marketing where the audience are. So in that sense, I don't feel that shifting away from TV will impact our business.
Yeah, we've seen that females on the app, they stream at about 5 or 6% will stream at any given day in the 18 to 34 age group, which is basically flat across the age group. So you're just as likely to stream at 34 years old as you are at 18, and I find that very interesting. Then it starts to live stream.
Camera on me
That's right.
in front of the computer.
And then it starts to drop
and it's
in
a
half.
pitch
Yeah.
to whoever likes me.
So it seems like after 35, people don't really appreciate
So
it.
it's like a one-to-many online dating shortcut.
Yes,
That's me,
yes,
like
right,
me, we have
right.
to have, okay. Okay, fantastic. Fascinating world. So let's see how the industry is developing. I'm very thankful you're here and wish you all the best for the future. And
Thank you.
Very impressive. You did a lot of M&A. We did some M&A together. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Enjoy the conference.
Thank you, Marco.
Thank you. Thank you.